We're live. What's going on, Pokemon Go trainers? Welcome to a very special episode of Lured Up, the podcast where we take Pokemon Go way more seriously than we do ourselves. Lured Up is part of the Pokemon Professor Network, and today is Friday, March 7th, 2025. I'm your host, Ken Pescatore. That's Adam Tuttle, and that's JT Valor is in the house. JT, what's up? Yeah.
Hi.
You know, they're above me, but I don't know if they're below you. I don't
wait,
know.
so that's it. I might not even been pointing in the right way because over here is where Ken is, and this is
that's
for me.
See, you guys are above
down
me.
There.
Oh, weird.
It's like our first day on the internet.
Mom, help.
What's going on, everybody? How are you? What's the deal? JT, what's been up, man? How are you?
Well, I'm doing great. I've been doing pretty good, minus that gravity won today, unfortunately. That was not very fun. But other than that, I've been pretty good.
Did you just show us a Band-Aid on your finger?
A couple Band-Aids,
two.
Actually, not just one. There's three.
There's three of them? Oh my goodness.
Should see my knee.
Now, why isn't there a Band-Aid Pokemon?
That you see,
It's
that
got
was
keychains.
Chimecho.
Oh, I guess, yeah.
Just like put a whole Chansey on my finger. Just that'll heal it up.
Oh, giggity. That's right. But Adam, what about you, man? What's up this week? How are you?
This weekend is Fuecoco Community Day, and
are you excited
Ashton
about
has
this?
His hockey playoffs. I'm very excited. This tomorrow's going to be like such a bumping day. I'm so
Wait,
excited.
are the playoffs at the same time as Fuecoco, or can you actually?
No, they're after it.
Oh, nice.
Well,
JT, what about you? Where you playing?
Out.
Where am I playing Community Day?
Fuecoco, yeah.
Probably in downtown Orlando, because that's like where.
And apparently, it just started in Australia per this podcast.
So,
nice.
So before we get into like, I want to talk about our history, and I want to talk about JT and all that stuff, of course. But I have to say, as a viewer of your content, how densely packed are these areas that you play in? Because it seems that you have a never-ending supply of Pokestops and research available to you. Is every single S2 cell filled with a POI? Like, is it built?
Well, over in the downtown area, for sure. A little bit north of me, yes. There are some areas that are not very built for stops, but really good for spawns for some reason. So, unfortunately, it's not like a big city where you can just go anywhere and you'll be set. It's one of those, do you want to focus on researches or do you want to focus on spawns? Because if you're focusing on spawns, you're going to have to leave for a little bit and pick up some more balls, yada, yada. So, yeah.
Okay. And what about Wayfarer in that area? Like, is it kind of filled up, or is there room to grow?
People are actually, there's been a lot more stops that are getting submitted, like not so much in those areas like I was mentioning with the with all the spawns, though there are a few new stops here and there, but there's not a lot of POIs. Like, they would really have to scrape the bottom of the barrel. Besides, like, a TGI Fridays used to be here. That's what this empty patch of ground is.
Dude,
those are my favorite. Those are my favorite stops.
Look, the trick is
they'll have a brand new store. It's like there's one that's near me that's a Starbucks, but there's no Starbucks, and it's on the opposite end of the street. It's like, what?
Right. Stop! The Wayfarer police are going to remove your stop. They're listening.
They're going to find it. Have fun.
Believe me, dude. Adam would send gifts to people and then go back the next week and be like, "Why isn't this like bell in front of a fire department there anymore?" It's like, yeah, Wayfarer police. No, because it's having a built out game board is so crucial to JT, your style of gameplay. And I think that what makes your content so unique is it kind of mirrors a very prominent subculture of this game, and that's going to be the people that are actually hitting the ground as a foot soldier. And that's not something that's typically represented all that commonly or all that well in YouTube or Twitch, because it's just
any of the quick social medias like TikTok or Instagram, because I just see a lot of people sitting down being like, "Oh, look at, we just got this shiny," and I'm like, yeah, but you're sitting at home, so you just remoted it. That's like, it defeats the purpose.
Yeah.
So my question to you, JT, is what is it about the grind that not only attracts you to motivates you to create content, but the way you connect with the game, I think, kind of defines a lot about you as a trainer, and the grind just never seems to stop for you. And what's your thought process behind like getting up and really just not stopping? Like, how are your feet?
Well, so far they're actually doing a lot better now, but that's because
do you have all 10 toes?
Yes, surprisingly, they're still there, thankfully. But also, it turns out getting good shoes is very important, which is something that I wasn't doing for the longest time. But now I have these like New Balance shoes that are just, oh my God, they're amazing. Except for the fact that I still burn through them. So they only last for about 8 months as opposed to the other ones that only lasted for 3. But no, there's that. And then for me, it's really, I really like to be outside now, which, if you talk to 10 years ago, me would have been like, what the hell is outside? That's terrible. But no, like, and also the inspiration is that I've mentioned this multiple times on this podcast, but I used to be very overweight, and this game basically, not the word cure because it's not really a cure, but like it was something that I would say saved me in a way. Like I was 276 pounds and was not doing anything for myself. Probably would have ballooned up even more until this game came out, and it really inspired me to go out and motivated me. So it's that because I know that it's just good for me to do it, but also I enjoy it. I like being outside for extended periods of time, minus in the middle of the summer. Sometimes it gets a little rough, but
Yeah, but you're still out there attempting.
What's your adventure sync looking like every week?
But I mean, definitely over 100 every single week, usually, unless I give myself like a mini break. Like I hate to say it too, because it's really not even like a break, but it's more of a, we're not going to walk as much because this is an event where walking really isn't a huge part of it. But I usually try to make sure I crack 50 every time, unless I have some horrible blister that needs to be not walked on. And those have happened before. They're not fun.
So what does it take mentally as a trainer to, I guess the redundancy is something in this game that really kind of attracts us, right? Like the fact that we're catching hundreds of thousands of Pokemon, but the mechanic of catching a Pokemon is the same. The fact that we've hatched all these eggs and walked so many kilometers, it's a redundant process. However, that redundancy is the grind, right? That's what attracts us to the process. Right. So with your style of gameplay, the commitment to each individual mechanic, whether it's catching or field research or like a crazy shiny hunt like you did with the Furfrou forms, like what does that take mentally to prepare yourself? Like, how do you approach each of these, each video or each style of game? Like, I just can't imagine figuring out, like, I see these videos of yours and you start the video and it's the daytime and you end the video, it's the nighttime, and like, you're still out.
Right. I mean, again, it's mostly because I love it. Like, I just love the idea of go out there and try your best to get the thing that you're trying to get. So, like, a new shiny has been released. Like right now, Charcadet will be timely with it. Charcadet is now out there. Unfortunately, 2 and 5 kilometer eggs exist, and it makes it a lot harder. But 7s and 10s are great, and I love trying to get every one of the shinies. So, and I'm trying to get a thing called the Shiny Living Dex. For those that don't know what that means, it means getting one of every single shiny in your actual collection, not just in the Pokedex. So that means for Fuecoco Community Day, I need to at least get 3 of them. I probably will. It's Community Day. But when it comes down to this Charcadet, I also need 3 of them because I need Charcadet and its evolutions.
Ceruledge and Armarouge.
Yeah, and those are going to be also, like, I mean, that's not hard to get those once you have the shinies, but it's just the process of I have my goal, and the only way to get it is by going out and getting it myself, even though I could trade, but I don't do that for the first shiny. I always make sure I get the first one first on my own. But,
that's like Adam. Adam doesn't even evolve. He'll be like, nope, I'm holding out. It's like, dude, it's a Kanto Pokemon. It's like, nope.
Is there anything that, like, newer, like Toxel or the Galarian Cursula? Either of those? Do you have those?
Oh, I have them. Okay, I also just finished the shiny Galarian birds a couple days ago.
Ooh,
yes.
Okay. All right,
I was very happy with that.
Actually, so are you? And what do your balls look like? Are you?
What was that,
JT? What do your balls look like?
Well,
like when you go into,
they're doing all right. One's a little hanging a little lower, but
well, when you go into these events, like, what do your balls look like? Like, do you
so you're talking about like GoFest, or are you talking about just events in general?
I'm talking about like this, like a community day.
What are your balls community day? Like, I'm going to be really honest with you. This is like something that will make a lot of hardcore people like kind of cringe a little. I don't catch nearly as much as people think I do.
He's a shiny checker.
Exactly.
Checker.
I am a heretic apparently in some ways. Like, I catch from time to time, but again, it really comes down to do I catch everything, but then have to leave the area in which I'm at in order to replenish, or do I just shiny check? And occasionally I'll catch things that are important to me or somebody that I know wants them in trades, but I just don't catch everything. Like if I did that, my numbers would be so much higher at this point, but unfortunately I'm
right. But going into play Coco, it's 3 times Stardust. Do you not?
Yeah. So
do you not go
admittedly,
after
for
Stardust?
these events, I will be going a little harder. As for the ball count, though, I will tell you, I mean, I got 777 Pokeballs, so I think I'll be okay for a
That's
little bit.
it?
Yeah, I know. Surprising.
Dude,
What is your Great Balls and your Ultra Balls?
349 and 203.
That's crazy. See, I just went.
I have thousands.
Dude, I went in with 3,600 for last weekend. So I had 3,600 Ultra going into it, and I left with 2,600, and that's even after spinning stop. When I played Saturday in Red Bank, there's 70 stops, in the area, so it's just like nonstop, restocking. But yeah, that's why we just buy the storage, right? Like it doesn't make any sense. Like you can play this game without having to go into an event with 3,600 Ultra Balls, but man, it does feel great. It does feel really good. It's so crazy. It's so crazy. But all right, let's digress.
So your balls are looking good.
My balls always look good. Thank you, Manscaped.
And then, so I have 1,335 Pokeballs, 1,701 Great Balls, and 1,298 Ultra Balls.
See, I don't
and
even
2
keep
Master
Great
Balls.
No, yeah, me too. No, I don't even keep Great Balls anymore. That's it.
Right? Like I don't have 1,000 of those.
Yeah. So, all right, let's digress. I want to back up. I want to take us back in time to GoFest 2000. Was it 18? 2018, I think.
I think it was,
the
second one, yeah.
Yes. Yeah, so it was GoFest 2018 Chicago. I drove from Jersey to Chicago. I just bought a new truck. I was like, yo, I had a nice new Volkswagen Tiguan pimped out. I was like, yo, first road trip. It was like a week old, and took about 16 hours straight. Drove from Jersey to Chicago, and I get a call. I call Adam when I'm in Chicago because Adam was there ahead of me, and I'm like, yo, where are you at? Let's meet up. And he goes, yeah, I'm at the pier with JC Picks and JT Valor, and like I had never met you at that point in person. So after driving 16 hours straight to Chicago, we pick you up at the pier, and you don't put JT Valor in your car without continuing to grind Pokemon. Yep. And then we continue to grind for like 2 hours.
That was so wild. It was like, oh yeah, let's just drive around and just catch.
we drove around downtown Chicago for 2 hours straight. It was absolutely amazing. We ended up, we were sharing an Airbnb that year, and it was amazing.
From the best park ever, apparently.
Dude, we've talked about this park so many times. The hood credit of this Airbnb was so high. It was elite level, S tier hood credit.
The funny thing is, when I first met Adam, like he seemed a little shook, and we were like, "Hey, you're good." And then he was like, "I was just followed by somebody," blah, blah. And we were just like,
I had to dart into McDonald's, and I was like, "All right, nobody's coming after me." Okay.
Oh man,
but they were. It's like they made eye contact. They came straight towards me. I'm like, and then the whole McDonald's just smelled like.
I remember the text from Adam, like, "I'm just trying to buy peanuts." I was like, "Yo, welcome to Chicago."
Yeah, like he looked like he had seen something as we're eating deep dish at the pier. I'm just like, "You good?"
Yeah, I was very on edge.
Yeah,
but no. So I remember, we had, once you went inside the Airbnb, it was a totally different story. We had like 20-foot vault ceilings, full glass window. Like it was a pimp Airbnb.
It was really nice. I like that place.
I remember that night.
It was a lot of fun.
We played the event, and then back at the Airbnb, it was like 2 a.m. and like everyone is toast. Everyone is absolutely cooked, fried, and starting to like, really wind down. And JT's like, "No, man, I got to pull out the laptop
and just keeps
get this video going." And it's like 2-3 a.m. and it's like we're all, we're in.
He's like, "I can't sleep till this edit's done."
Yep.
So that's just how it is.
So that leads me into one of the things I want to talk about, and that is the importance of, especially in Pokemon Go content, the importance of being first, early bird. And I think that's something that you do exceptionally well even when you're traveling the world. How important is that in this in this content scene, and how important is that in the Pokemon Go, specifically the Pokemon Go space, to kind of get those videos out early?
I think that it's incredibly important, so much to the point where I am even genuinely considering moving overseas because I would be getting it first there. Like when I'm in Japan or any part of that world, that side of the world, those videos do really good because I'm the one who's putting it out first. Like it's really, really good. Then coming back here, unfortunately, as much as I hate to say it, because I like Florida, is a bit of a detriment because this is one of the last time zones. So it went from I get the event a day before everyone else, play through it and show you everything that I figured out during this time, to this is the next day and everybody's already played it, which luckily I'm glad that there's a lot of a fan base there that still enjoys that. But I've noticed that the views go down a little bit because it's not the first of this, But that's a big thing when it comes down to GoFests and stuff. I will make it a point to try to be the first person to put out the content, like the Fukuoka wild area event. I basically cut out the last hour of that event to start editing to make sure I had it ready to go before everyone else, because it is a very competitive market in some ways.
You just gave out the secret sauce.
Well, don't worry. That's why I'll adjust even more. But now I don't even play the event. I just pretend.
Minutes,
exactly.
32 seconds.
But yeah,
one thing I want to note too is not only your commitment to the content grind, but actually being on location across the world to all these events. And I think it's exceptionally important to point out that you're not affiliated with any companies. You're self-made, you're self-driven.
Not sponsored or anything by Niantic, though people really like to say it. I'm not. I've never been. There's been times I've gotten close, but unfortunately didn't pan out. But it is what it is. Like, I do my best to just do this out of my own pocket. Obviously, I have a Patreon, which thank you to everybody. And obviously everybody who watches the videos and stuff. Those are the big reasons why I can do what I'm doing. But yeah, no, it's all 100% me. Yeah.
Well, no, I think that's super important to call out, because for us, for Adam and I specifically, like if it wasn't for our ability to work directly with Niantic, we would not be able to experience the events that we do. So we feel so incredibly fortunate that we've been able to travel. I mean, Adam was in Barcelona, we've been to LA, we've been, all over the place, Seattle, Chicago, and it's all because of those relationships that we have with Niantic, which we feel very fortunate for. And if we didn't have that, we'd be playing global. We'd be playing the global events only.
But also Jersey.
Yeah. No. Like the New York, like we would.
Adam, what are you, 5.5 hours from New York?
Yes.
So
5.5 hours from New York.
Like you could take a bus
for you.
A bit of a job.
Yeah. No, I can, and it's a cheap bus ride too. It's not that expensive. So
see, I'm literally 45 minutes from Jersey City. Jersey City's 20 minutes from where I grew up. I used to live in Bayonne, like one town over. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I am so incredibly excited for GoFest in Jersey City. We're going to talk about Liberty State Park, which Niantic recently announced, and we'll kind of talk about the way the city experience is going to work, bridging into the 5 boroughs of New York. That really, in my opinion, really makes a huge difference for travel accommodations, because Jersey City is like kind of half kind of hood and half kind of nice and gentrified. And it's like the Airbnbs are crazy expensive because they're really nice. You know what I mean? So it's like having the ability to stay in New York City and still have gameplay at your doorstep is an absolute game changer for accommodations.
Yes,
I just think the
100%.
accessibility for travel, just the doors are blown open. Like last year in New York, we had some of the Lured Up community that were staying on the Jersey side because it's that convenient. You could just take a bus right over or train right over. It's no big deal. But I've already heard from so many people that they're so hyped on Jersey Go Fest so they can play in New York. And it's like, yo, it's Jersey though. Like, come on, we got to do this. But I definitely want to do a day in New York City. So what's your plan for Go Fest this year in Jersey? Are you going to be doing like a NYC thing, or are you going to stay towards the parks?
To be honest with you, I have no idea, really. I mean, not to reiterate it, but since I'm not sponsored, I only get 1 day in the park. I don't have the fancy pass that lets me play in the park all the time. So probably going to spend the first day in Jersey. But I really don't know where things are going right now. Like, I just bought all my tickets for the events, like all 3 of them. But like, I have one hotel reserved. I haven't even really paid for it yet in Jersey. But other than that, like, my plan is, like, at the end of this month, I'm going to the Singapore City Safari, and I might just try to, if I can afford it, of course, stay in Asia the entire time until Osaka, because at least then I can get that, and then one-way flight to Jersey, and then get to Paris after that. So yeah, like, I'm not 100% sure yet.
You've done that kind of stay in Asia thing quite a bit. And
I like it.
I think it's interesting when, I hear you talk about it in your videos that, from a cost effectiveness, like sometimes it's like, oh, I'm going to stay in Japan. Oh, you know what I mean? Like,
right.
Like that's so incredible that that's like a reality where, it's cheaper to just to stay. So what is it like traveling so much? And like, are you on like, you got like the first class upgrades yet? Like, how much are you flying?
So I fly a lot, but I'm also just cheap. Like, that's a big thing. I am very cheap. The flight to Singapore is a 17-hour direct flight from San Fran, and I'm flying economy. Like, I'm not in those lay down seats. The only time I have ever upgraded my travel was because of a mess up on my part. Because of I was going to go to the Hong Kong City Safari, and I've been staying in Japan for a little bit, and I went to the wrong airport. And that is a big issue in Japan because their airports are very far apart. The 2 Tokyo ones, there's Haneda and Narita. Narita is like 40 minutes away from Tokyo, while Haneda is about like a 15-20 minute monorail. It's not that bad. But if you make that mistake, it's harder to get to the other one because it's further away. So I only just made it to the airport in time to check in, so I didn't miss my flight. And in order for me to check my bag in, it was either going to be $360 because of the lateness of it, because they would apparently have to do something. I don't remember what it was. Or I pay only $300 to be business class, and it comes for free with the bag. And I was like, well, I mean, it's cheaper, so I better do that.
Yeah.
And it wasn't one of those like lay down seats either. It was a nice seat. It was a big seat, but it was like,
they were like, we give you a piece of sushi. You're good.
Right. It was a longer flight, so I didn't feel as bad. It wasn't like a 30-minute down the way. Like, I just can't believe I spent all that. At least it was a 7-hour flight, I believe. And I was just like, all right, at least I can enjoy this for a little bit. But
raw dogging it, no phone, no movies, just sweating it out.
Yeah. Like, thankfully, international flights are not like Spirit Airlines, so they're actually pretty nice. But yeah, I mean, I love.
Do they offer
travel,
like
though.
in-flight goodies and stuff?
For what, the Hong Kong one or the business?
Well,
one
just like
or just in general?
International stuff. Like
international, like you get a meal, you get a whole bunch of things. Like, they have TV screens for every seat and everything like that, especially for like the long flights, because they know, especially the kids that are gonna be screaming and kicking seats and stuff like that, they gotta have something. But yeah, I think almost every single international flight I've done, minus one, had that, thankfully. But yeah, I mean, again, I go into Google Flights, I find what the cheapest thing I can find is, and that's what I do for like when I stay in Japan for long periods of time. Is like, sometimes I'll stay in those capsule hotels because
man, no, I couldn't do it.
It's hard, man. It's not easy, especially because like I would
it.
love to have my own room. I don't want to have to see a whole bunch of naked people while I'm trying to shower, yada yada, because some places are shared like that.
Not with that attitude.
Yeah, but like, in the end of the day, for me, it's do I accept this and still try to make the most out of it, or do I just stay at home? And I really like to travel, and as far as I am aware right now, I'm a pretty healthy person, and I want to keep doing that as long as I can, because I really love it. I honestly, a lot of people kind of feel like it's a huge barrier, and in some ways it definitely is, especially if you've never traveled in your life once. But I would say it's worth doing. Go somewhere else, experience another culture, learn some things, realize that, hey, maybe America isn't all that. Like, I love America, don't get me wrong, but like, you go to Japan and you'll be like, oh, so this is what good transportation looks like. That's nice.
Yeah.
Like,
like when I went to Barcelona, that was a huge
eye-opening.
Right. Yeah, because it was like, things would just close in the middle of the day, and
Mhm.
then it'd be like midnight. There's like partying and stuff going on, and like there's just parents with their kids walking around. I'm like, what?
What is happening?
Like
Yeah.
little kid, like
Here, Billy, hold
be
this
in-
wine.
yeah.
And sometimes you'll experience some other crazy things. Like when I was the Berlin Go Fest, I was going to go to Greece for a couple days just to get the sigillith, you know, just kind of because it's right there. In Europe to Europe is very domestic, just kind of like how Asia to Asia is weirdly domestic in terms of prices. And I accidentally got stranded in Serbia for the day because there was an issue. And I'm stuck in Eastern Europe with Russian stuff everywhere on the 4th of July of all days. And I'm just like, well, this is not at all what I thought my day was going to be. And like I overheard
You're like, I
this
thought
guy-
I would at least see
It's
some
like Bert
fireworks.
Kreischer, the machine.
Yeah,
Before you know it,
like-
you're on like a train with some Russian spies. You're like,
yeah, there
yo.
was like concrete buildings everywhere, and just like, and weirdly, like they're in a middle ground point where I saw some Putin stuff, but I also saw American stuff. And
Why do I
like,
hear
this is
people
interesting.
marching?
Right, but the people were really friendly.
Is
I will
that
say
My
this.
Chemical Romance?
So all the
Mr.
places
Black
you've
Parade,
been
let's go.
across the world, from a gameplay perspective, where is the best place to play?
Japan, by far. There's no like everywhere in Japan is good. Like every single. What's even worse is because I know you guys have mentioned this a few times from things you've seen, like the game board and stuff. Like some of it is very legit, as in they just have a ton of sponsors over there. So there's a lot of sponsored stops. But man, like the game board in Japan is just, it's on a different tier. Like you think New York's okay, you get spoiled when you go to Japan. It's that good comparatively. Gyms on top of gyms practically, stops everywhere, spawns everywhere, even in rural areas that I've checked out. Like it's just really
And I've
good.
heard there's no lack of like needing people for raids. It just always fill up.
For the big cities, yes. I do have those issues sometimes when I'm more like rural for sure.
Or
but, like,
okay, no, I got that from one of your videos. I've seen your videos. Dick, so
Yeah.
No, but
that's why
that's
I'm
the
saying
beauty
that.
of New York. Like I could, if I left my house now, I could be in Manhattan in 50 minutes, right? So it's like I'm not far, but when I go there to play, there, regardless of what time of day it is, if there's raids running, for the most part, if you're in Manhattan, those lobbies have people in it. Now, whether they're on the ground or it's air support or whatever you want to call it, those raids are very bustling. It's very busy. And I think that it pairs well with the urban environment. Now, for me, I love combining nature and technology, right? So I love playing in the woods and I love that, but it becomes a detriment to the game board because outside of like trail markers and things like that, you're going to have a very limited ability to interact with POI. That's why no matter anytime I go on a new hike, I love going on hikes and stuff. So anytime I go on a hike and there's a trail marker, it's like, you better believe if it's not, if it's not in the game, I'm nominating it like on the spot.
And there's also something to go back to the Japan thing is like their game board is also weird and I think different than everybody else's in terms of they have like prefectural mascots, like actual mascots that are
right
like used in real life for their things. Like in Kagawa, I believe they have Slowpoke, and I could swear every time I've been to one of these places and they've specifically had a specific Pokemon as their prefectural mascot, I see that Pokemon a little more often. Like I went to Tori, the Sand Dunes. They have Sandshrew and a Alolan Sandshrew as their main like ambassador Pokemon. And we went to the Sand Dunes, JC and I, and we saw a lot of Sandshrews in there, almost like it was
that's
a
awesome,
nest.
man.
And I love that kind of stuff. That's the thing. Is like, I wish
that's
everywhere
immersion.
had that, but
that's that section of the blog that's like, hey, go to the city and see Magneton, and go to go to the beach, and it's like we I think we were just talking about this on last episode, how that stuff gets so drowned out by event Pokemon and weather effects, like all that stuff. It's so hard to find those small windows where you're in like a vanilla spawn window, and then it's like, okay, now I actually might be able to see
actually experience the actual environmental Pokemon, as opposed to hey, here's the Dedenne that's part of this event that has nothing to do with this.
Exactly. It's like it's a Charmander event, and it's like Charmander spawning like at the beach. It's like, come on, man,
right?
Come on, it's crazy. But no, I think that the urban style gameplay is just so incredible that when people travel to areas like New York City or like what Jersey City will be, it's a really exciting time for them to go from a game board that might be, oh, hey, we got a couple stops and a couple gyms in town to, every single S2 cell has something going on, and you can't, not be in range of multiple POI at the same time. Forget about if you're running like spatial rend, right? Like you're just going to be, insane amounts of catches. And I think we should start probably talking about this year's Go Fest, because we just had
there's
like
a Go Fest in Jersey this year. Well, what are we doing?
We just had
a
JT
news
Valor
right now.
Look, man, I love JT Valor. It's what it's.
I've been staring at his
plush
collection in the back, his gold Magikarp.
So Volcanion is coming to the game. I'm a fan of Volcanion. It's one of, some people don't like the movie. I am a huge fan of the Volcanion movie. I know he talks, but he's mythical or whatever, sort of pseudo. So it's like, let him talk. But no, Volcanion is making its inaugural appearance in Pokemon Go. So I'm pretty excited about this. And we're just going to kind of scroll through the blog post here. And in the key art, we see Hawlucha, right? No, is that Hawlucha? That's not Hawlucha.
Yes,
I got glasses
on. Yeah, that's Hawlucha.
All right, we got Hawlucha. Look, Chimecho's in there. We were talking about Chimecho. Yo, is anyone else tired of Carbink? What is the obsession with Carbink?
Especially right now in the
we just had it last year's Go Fest. And then we got it in eggs, and it's been a part of like all these different events. Like, why?
It's always that one in the group.
It better be shiny this year. This better be the Japan shiny release, because I swear, if it's not, I'm not clicking on them. I'm so done with it.
So we see here. Oh yeah. So if you're not familiar, Liberty State Park, where the event is going to be in Jersey City, is right across from New York City. So you get incredible views of New York City from Liberty State Park, and the Statue of Liberty is right there. So Ellis Island, there's a lot of history. I don't know how the tours are going to be working that weekend, but there is ferries that go from Liberty State Park out to Ellis Island. So look into that, but I'm sure it's going to be bonkers that week. I don't know if their parking lots or what the situation is. We're going to look at the map in a second, but Skidoo is going to be coming to Jersey, which is pretty exciting. So I'm hyped on that. Adam, you already have.
First time I got Skidoo, I was in Barcelona.
I know. We're and obviously this is also happening in France. Global is going to be the 28th and 29th. So we got some time on that. We can get around to it. But tickets went available yesterday or 2 days ago, and I believe things are already starting to sell out. So if you haven't bought tickets yet, or if this is your first Go Fest, just know
then you're cooked. You're cooked. You're just cooked.
Typically what they do is they come in waves. The tickets will come in waves. So they had the initial run right now, and then closer to the event they'll open it up again. But you just got to be on it, because there is a finite number of tickets available.
Lucky. Like, I literally woke up within minutes of the announcement going live randomly. Like, I didn't have any heads up or anything, because again, I don't get that stuff ahead of time. This is all just me doing this on my own.
Everything happens
I saw it and immediately bought it. I was just like, especially Japan. I already know from experience, Japan sells out immediately.
Do you remember 2018-19 with like the lobbies that it was like buying concert
the lottery
tickets.
System? Yeah.
Dude, I would have like my whole, like all my friends, like all their phones, like we're trying to like get in all at the same time. Like that was the worst. And it's like you could buy up to 10 tickets. And then the 1 year it was like
they had people were scalping that was the big issue for the first year. Like I got scalped $100+ on the ticket because I really wanted to go it was the only way to get it. I was really like, and then it went how it went. So that was also fun. But it also panned out because I was going to stay in Chicago for a little bit anyways, just as a little vacation for myself. And this is before I even started doing YouTube. And then it turns out they were like, yeah, for the next couple of days, here's GoFest spawns. And every legendary you do is an insta catch. I was like, well, I mean, darn, if I'm here, might as well.
Exactly. No,
wow.
No. It's hilarious. All right. Crown Shield and Crown Sword forms coming at in-person events. This is pretty exciting. We've been waiting for this for a long time. They don't give much love to it in the blog. It's just kind of like here
some words. It's just words.
Yeah.
And it's like one small little section.
But isn't this a highlight? Like I know we're not
Oh, this is
But
should
why?
be huge. Like this
That's what
is
I mean.
major.
I don't understand why they have just this. Not, if nothing more, like yeah, it's another opportunity at Candy XL and stuff like that. But I'm very surprised that at least at this point they don't have more information. I can't imagine the the future updates not kind of expounding on that. And then if you look at the artwork, I love this Go Fest logo. It's like super steampunky. I was thinking maybe Majerna.
I thought it was going to be Majerna as well. I really
so
did.
I thought that was coming, but I'm super excited about Volcanion. But this merch is absolute fire, amazing. I think I'm wearing Go Festy stuff. You got Go Festy stuff on
This is
too,
last
Adam?
year's.
Well,
Yeah,
I feel like I should
last year's.
change. Jeez.
Get out of here. Go change. No. Backpacks available for avatars.
Backpacks. Let's go.
I mean, what's
you
interesting
too
about
can
those
look like Dora the
backpacks is
Explorer.
that, apparently, you can only buy those in Jersey and Paris. They're like real backpacks, and then you get the avatar items after you purchase them.
Is that how it works? I thought it was just the pin that wasn't available in Japan.
No, yeah, it says it right now. Limited edition backpack. It says note exclusive for Jersey City and Paris, not available in Osaka. And if you go into the tickets, they're like $100 and something each.
Oh snap!
Yeah, they're kind of expensive.
Yeah, but
wow,
that's
get
cool.
me a yellow.
That's exclusive stuff. But let's take a look at. I'm going to pull it up on screen now. But let's take a look at Liberty State Park, which is where we're going to be playing the Jersey City Go Fest. So here's Liberty State Park. It is
right
a
next to the
big
Statue of
area.
Liberty. That's cool.
Yep. So the Statue of Liberty is super close, and here's our main gameplay area. So I've walked this boardwalk recently. They just redid this a couple years ago, so it's really nice and new. Through these woods, there's like no real way to go through here, so I don't know if this will even be any gameplay area. Like I'm thinking the gameplay area may be isolated to just this strip, only because like you can see this one path that kind of cuts through. But it, at least at the time of these photos, this wasn't finished, and I don't believe that there's ways to kind of navigate through here.
Looks a little marshy.
But, yeah, from a logistics perspective, this side of the park, this is the big parking lot that's here, and here's going to be the ferry that goes to the Statue of Liberty leaves from here. I don't know what the deal is like for people that want to drive in. I have absolutely no idea. So you have to play that by ear. But what do you guys think looking at this park? If we think of, was it Grant Park in Chicago, was kind of a long rectangle, but it seemed maybe a little bit wider than this. What's your hot take on looking at the map of what
you
this
living there?
Like?
Do you know if that area is the same size?
I think Grant Park might have been wider. You know what I mean? But if you think from a habitat perspective, right? And I'm sorry to keep zooming in. I'm probably giving people motion sickness. You're thinking about habitats, like you might be able to do like a habitat over here and a habitat over here. So,
right.
I
think it looks better than Randall's Island. That's for sure.
Definitely sections of the. What happened?
Are you good?
Hold on, my connection is crap
right
now. Yeah, but there definitely is room for the different habitats, but
I like that circle right there just looks like a Sobble, like Sobble's head.
It kind of does actually.
Oh my god, it's like dead mouse or something, or
it's a Pokeball because it's got the little line with the dot.
When we think back to Chicago, right? And then think of Seattle and how Seattle's layout was kind of this maze, right? Like it was kind of like different areas. There wasn't big, huge, open, wide areas. I just wasn't a fan of the Randall's layout. That it wasn't my favorite.
Yeah.
And
it felt too far spaced apart from each other, and you felt disconnected when you going from one place to the other. So hopefully this is you feel more connected. Like I think that's what's really missing from GoFest is the connection. It's like you don't want to be too far away from, and it's like I understand you got to fit a lot of people, but you also don't want to be so far away from everyone.
So if you think back to Chicago,
like if JT finds a hundo and he's like, "Yo, Adam, Ken, I found it," and like lets us know, I don't want it to be impossible to get there.
But think of the physical habitats. They used to be huge. They weren't just little set pieces. So you had this like immersion that helped you and guided you like from one habitat to the next, where, you know, now, sure, we'll get like, oh, kitty, sure, we'll get like, you know, the volcano in the, you know, or something like that, or the big treasure chest thing. But it's like, I just hope that the immersion is taken into a little bit more consideration than it was in Randall's Island to give more of a vibe that was experienced in the early Go Fests, because that immersion was my favorite part. Like, yes, the music does it for you when you know, you can go from section to section, but I just felt, even after being at Randall's 2 years in a row, I just felt lost. I was just like, where am I? Which way do I got to go? Like the cohesion
and then they would like stop you from going one way, and it's like, but I went this way. I need to go that way.
I mean, if I be honest with, like, because I've been to a couple of these, I don't know. For me, it's, and this is just my opinion, I like the parks because it's a great way for me to meet people, because that's a big part of when I go to them, is not only to do my job, but also I really like meeting the fans and stuff. But I would say everybody I usually talk to that do the park are like, man, I thought the park was going to be so much better. And I feel like I need to be more honest about this stuff with my videos. Not that I'm ever like trying to deceive people or anything, but like, I personally think the point of the park is to get your mythical, and then you go into the city and have a way better time. Like, I'm like, that's just my interpretation of it. Like, because I hear it all the time. It's like, I just really thought I'd get more shinies in the park. I'm like, look, unless you're like really doing laps, like every half an hour, you're doing a whole lap and clicking on every available spawn, it's not going to be nearly as good as if you just go to the city where you can go pretty much unlimitedly and find some good stuff. Like, just get in there, get your mythical, and you can leave and play the city gameplay during your park time. That is allowed. Like, that's a thing, but
just not also the other way around.
Yeah. If you're playing the city and you don't have a park day, do not get in there. You will not see anything at all.
Right.
But yeah, I mean but that's just my opinion, of course. If you want to hang out with your friends and stuff like that, I totally respect that. If you're trying to get a ton of shinies, get your mythical and you head to that city, and there's some really good stuff in there. Like, my opinion.
We were just talking about that. No, we were just discussing that in kind of the network private chat, and Jamal and Chris from Way Spotters were saying, like, look, when we're in the park, we're really not even playing. We're just kind of meeting people and talking, taking pictures, you know, whatever. So it is the city experience is definitely the time that you could kind of put your head down, put the blinders on, and start catching. And I think that style of gameplay for me is very fun. And it's, you know, not often during these events that I get to play like that, because, you know, I want to mix it up with everybody and I want to hang out. Right. So having those experiences is pretty awesome. So being at so many of these, you know, over the years, what has been the best GoFest layout, in your opinion, at any of these events? And what do you hope that they do in Jersey City that you kind of have seen in other parts of the world?
So in terms of park play, because city play, you know, usually they've all been pretty good. But park play, specifically, the top ones that come to my mind are Berlin, because they had a massive park for that one. I think that was the last time we've ever had a GoFest that was specifically you're just in the park and you're not even getting a city experience. But that park was massive, and they were able to not really theme it too much. Like, they had banners saying this is where you are, and the volcano that shows up everywhere was there. But like, that one was really good though, in terms of its size and the amount of spawns you'd get. Like, it was just really good. And then there was also, I'd say, the Osaka one 2 years ago, which I don't know if they're doing the same park, because they're not showing the same weird sun god thing or whatever that they have there, the massive thing. They might have a different park for this one, so I'm not 100% sure on that one. But Osaka 2 years ago, or maybe it was a year ago now. Yeah, because Sendai was last year, so 2 years ago, was really good. Like that one was a big park, but it was also a 50% park, 50% city for your park day kind of stuff. But that one, like really big layout, tons of spawns everywhere. Because I've been to a few of the not so great ones as well. Like Randall's Island is okay. I'd put that as like a 5 out of 10. But then there was like Sendai, which was literally a tiny park that you could do a lap in maybe 20 minutes if you really wanted to. And the spawns were not that great. Like they were okay. Like it really just comes down to the size of the park that they choose to use. Like, like Madrid was okay, but like it wasn't huge or anything like that.
Yeah, it's interesting. I love this game for the immersion. I think that's what makes it special. So I just really hope that there's more of a physical presence of things to make me feel like a real life trainer.
Right.
Like the big like Burning Man rainbow that was at Randall's last year was really awesome, but it was in a parking lot. You know what I mean? It was people, Adam and I were very fortunate that we were able to climb to the top of it. You know what I mean? But like for others, it was just something to walk under. You know what I mean? But when I think of like the ice environment at Chicago 2018,
the snow was flying through the air. It wasn't actually snow, but like
cool. You felt like you were there when you went through like the creepy woods and there was like webs and all this stuff.
They definitely went a little harder on that one because lately I've noticed it really seems very. I hate to say the word bare bones because I'm sure there's a lot of logistics to it, but like, yeah, like I mean, I remember a couple of the Go Fests. They were doing fun themes. Now it's just like, I mean, even Unova Tour. They had some stuff, but I think their idea for summer was very interesting because in the park specifically, it was like winter, autumn, blah 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 in specific areas, and summer was a Ferris wheel, which was kind of fun. That's the first time I'd ever seen them do that. But then everything else was like autumn was like a little patch of thing that had a scarecrow, and I was like, all right, we're in the autumn time. I guess. Cool.
Well, that's like Philly Safari Zone was amazing, and it's like, all right, we got our cutouts of the team leaders and Professor Willow. It's official. It's a nice event.
That was something. Like they weren't even done setting up by the time the event went live.
I got you got to think
by a piece of wire that was not supposed to be there. What was that?
All the grounds were all muddy and wet. So like
that was, it was like a torrential storm.
Like I had a great time with that event. It was cool hanging out because I think you guys were there. We hung out with it.
Yes.
You guys, But boy, oh boy, let me tell you, that was just like one of the most interesting parks to choose as well. Like my Airbnb felt like it was kind of in a war zone.
Yeah,
man.
Nice.
Like it was
I remember we were talking about how hood our Airbnb was, and
the cars were up on blocks, the wheels were gone,
dude. And remember, I was just like, I was explaining it on an episode of Lured Up. And I was like, yeah, man, you rolled down the street. There's some like hood rats throwing dice. Like it was straight up. And then like I got
that's the decapitated squirrel.
Yeah, I was about to say the squirrel. I never saw it, but I keep hearing
the legendary squirrel.
No, there's a picture somewhere. Jamal has it.
The writer, a writer from Kotaku reached out to me. They're from Philly, and then they're like trying to cancel me because I was calling like people doing hood rat stuff. They're like, this is my city. I'm like, yo, man, I grew up in the hood. I'm allowed to say hood rat. I grew up doing hood rat stuff. I doubled down. I won the cancel fight. I was like, that's so funny. It's so hilarious. But sometimes like an event.
Yeah, I was parked on the sidewalk. Like
you were. Everybody was. Like, all the cars were like cocked up on the on the curb. No, but you don't need all that glitz and glamour to have a good time, right? Like it's really about the people and the experience. However, if I'm traveling halfway across the world to a Go Fest,
I want to
out your back door,
Give me a little bit, give me a little rub the shoulders a little bit, you know what I mean? Like so I'm excited for that. I'm excited.
I think that it depends on how much money they're willing to spend on these things. I like when they choose fun locations. Like what I loved about the Singapore Air Adventure Safari Zone mixture that they did was that it was in the Gardens by the Bay thing with those weird like future trees covered in plants and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That just being there was like such a weird, cool alien experience. I like stuff like that. Like if they would do, even though this would be hell, imagine if they did one in a sand dune. That would be hard to walk in, but like it would be such an atmospherically cool experience.
Like I thought Seattle was really cool because you could, like they had that like garden that was there. It wasn't really a garden.
Was cool. You know? It was weird,
was
but
like
I liked
it. Tons of stuff to look at.
Yeah.
You know, it was like you did feel like you were moving around.
Dead, but but also didn't feel like they did much of it. It was just like, this is what's here and this is what we're
around. It was like, here's some team tents.
Like the electric one had the weird metal flowers. I was like, this works. I'm down with it.
You know?
Like
I think one of what I would like to see come to these larger scale IRL events is what they did have done in Japan a couple times with the guided routes. So you know, even for the city, like, so picture if you were in New York City and through Manhattan in the Central Park area, or the area that's coming off of Randall's Island, like if you're walking at the bridge points or whatever. But you could say like, you know, follow this route if you like food, and it would go by a bunch of restaurants, and follow this if you like art, and it would take you to the Metropolitan Museum of Art, or follow that. You know, the themed routes are something that I think it would be a great way not only to herd traffic, right, but to also
you could literally tell people where to go and how to get there, and
it would let them see the sights. It would like for tourism, like it would make sense. And I'm looking at like the pamphlet that they had from the different routes that were at these Japanese events, and I'm like, yo, this is the coolest thing. Like if you're into art, follow this route and go to and see some of the galleries in the neighborhood. Or if you like, you know, food, you know, this will take you down the restaurant thoroughfare in town. It's like, that is the coolest thing. And again, adds to the immersion and gives like purposeful intent to what you're doing. It's like combining, like JT, you do this in your content all the time, but you show your food and you go into restaurants. I love that. I've always tried to connect the dots between other passions of mine. I love to cook, and I love to eat, right? You know, and the being able to connect those is like a joyful kind of explosion for me. So when I see like, you know, your food style content, and it's just like, yo, just this little segment, this 30-second segment took me somewhere else. Like I went from watching a Pokemon Go video to now I'm watching a lifestyle video, or
I'm glad to hear that you like that, because I enjoy doing it. But boy, sometimes I get those comments like, I'm not here to see what you were eating. I care about the game. I'm like, bro, it was 30 seconds. Just chill for a second. God forbid you saw some food. Oh, but like,
God forbid you were able to pick up your phone and like look at something, a text message, like during my video. You could have picked it up and looked at it at that time.
Joe in the chat says Grounds for Sculpture in New Jersey. Yo, that's a crazy place. I have been there. That would be a cool one. There's some crazy funky sculptures, like huge giant like hands coming out of the ground that are like 10 feet to 20 feet tall. That'd be crazy.
I mean, something I would love to do, and I might even just choose to make a second channel about food and stuff like that, or something like that. But like, I really enjoy like when I did it, what I do a lot when I travel is the explore the place, show what I'm seeing, but also playing Pokemon Go the entire time. Like that's what I do. Literally, even on my days off, I'm playing Pokemon Go because I really do enjoy it. And I find it weirdly therapeutic in some ways, even though it is somewhat stressful because it's also part of my job. But like, I really love the whole, like I went, because I showed you this, Ken, I went to a city where Chansey is their ambassador Pokemon, and they had a playground for it. So like, but it wasn't just that. Like they had Pokestops in the game that would give you that, but also there was this special thing going on where if you went to this remote little town where they had been making paper dolls since the Edo era, which is like really long time ago, there's one specific guy who makes paper Chanseys that are actually like sponsored by the Pokemon Company. So the only way you can get this thing is by going to the middle of this random town and finding this little thing. And I like that kind of adventure. And I've met a lot of cool people along the way. And like, I love documenting that kind of stuff, you know, as opposed to here I am at home doing the same thing over and over again.
No, I agree 100%. And traveling and getting a slice of the local culture, I think, is one of the unique things of this game that you get to experience when you do stuff like that. And I found it, the postcard that JT sent me from the Chansey. Look, dude.
Oh, look at that. And it's got the TCG from Pokemon Go set.
And this is the little paper doll.
Yeah, how cool is that, man?
And this is like made by a local. I actually have a few other things there, but like this
hold on. Can you hold that up again?
Like it's not supposed to knocked over.
It's like a Weeble.
That's so cool. That is so
like,
cool.
It was like a fun experience. And it's like such an old place that he didn't accept credit cards because he didn't have a thing for that. You only could buy it with cash. Like, it was fun and different. And I got to experience a lot of different things. Like, I met this really nice old Japanese lady who was running a coffee shop because I just decided to sit down for a second afterwards. And she was like, you need to go upstairs and check out all this local stuff we have. And I was like, sure, whatever, you know, and I showed that off. Like, it was fun.
Food is a bridge to culture, right?
Oh,
so
yeah.
I think that is such a great way to be able to, you know, not only learn about the culture, but really kind of immerse yourself and become a part of it. So I love that. And, you know, my girlfriend doesn't play a lot of Pokemon Go, but she likes to come on adventures and excursions. So food is typically what will base our decision to travel. Yeah. So it's just like, yo, like, check out this restaurant. And it's like, meanwhile, I'm like, I got the Ingress Intel map pulled up and I'm looking at like the POIs in the area. I'm like, oh snap, I can hit three Pokestops from this restaurant. It's like, yeah, we should go here.
This was only for the visual portion of the podcast, but this was something kind of funny that, like, this is that same old lady. They maybe put these paper masks on.
Oh my
and
God,
that's like
amazing.
part of the culture. Like, and it was fun. And she even told me make that
cool.
pose and stuff. I'm like, see, like, and I wouldn't have had that experience had I not done this adventure. Cool. I love that kind of stuff.
Well, that's I think the magic of Pokemon Go in a nutshell, right? Is that you know, I know it sounds campy and it sounds cheesy, but we've talked about this plenty. Is, you know, sometimes the best part of Pokemon Go doesn't happen on the screen, right? You know, it's about the people that we meet and the places that we travel to and the you know, the things that we're able to experience. So I love that, man. And I think that, like we were just saying, blending food with Pokemon Go, I think that the nature of your content with how hardcore the gameplay is you're traveling the world, you're showing all this incredible stuff. I love your montages and all that stuff, but at its core, it's like, yeah, I'm still getting my Pokemon Go fix here, but I'm also able to, you know, kind of live vicariously through you. So please don't stop traveling, because this is how I see the world, is through your content.
As long as I am able to do it, I'm going to do it. Like, I really.
Oh, I thought you were snapping like Thanos did.
Right, you know, it's just like
to get rid of
this time, instead of snapping half people away, I'm trying to add more money.
Yeah, Singapore. It's like, bam, you're there.
God, I wish I could do that and just show up, because man, that 17-hour flight's gonna suck. But no, like, I love the traveling, and I would say that I've been spoiled about it, like, young in my life, because my mother worked for the government, so I would be going to bases all the time, because I didn't have like a town that I lived in for 18, 20 years. Like, I moved every 4-ish years, so that's why I'm like used to travel. And when you live in Europe, everything's there. Oh, Europe is there, obviously, but you know what I mean? Like, you can just go places, and it's not an arm and a leg to get there, as opposed to from America to Europe and all that. So that's, I guess, one thing that's also kind of like kicked me in the butt of why I do it so much.
Oh, well, I appreciate it as a viewer. I appreciate it as a content creator, you know, and especially when you get those videos out early.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, man. Well, look, we've been fortunate enough to make a lot of incredible relationships through making content and traveling with this game. And JT, you've been a good friend for many years with this game, and it's one of the things that we're proud of, is how we've kind of turned avatars to, you know, real friends. And you know, I'm very excited. I want to thank you so much for joining us today, man, because it means
I appreciate you inviting me. Like, I really
on here. No, I really appreciate it. And Adam, I know I can speak for you in saying that we feel fortunate to be buddies with you, and the fact that we know that every single event we go, every event we go to,
when I see you, it's like
time.
It's a familiar face. I know that I'm not just going to be like, shoot away.
You know? I definitely felt bad though about what was it, Barcelona? Like, I feel like I only saw you for a couple seconds because I had to literally get on a flight and go somewhere else.
It's okay. It's okay. It was one of those.
Dude, New York, we barely saw each other too. Yeah. Like, it's.
Though now that I think about it, didn't I like point you to your Shundo Timber?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I don't feel bad anymore. I had to go. I
no. You said that, and I left, and then like when I got back, I was like, oh, he's gone.
He's gone.
But I got the hundo, and it was
glad you got it.
Oh man, but no, JT, thank you, man. I really appreciate it. Of course, we're gonna put your links everywhere in the bio, in the description and all that good stuff. But where can we send people? Where can they find you? And what's next for JT?
So, if you would like to follow me on my YouTube channel, which is the predominant thing that I've been doing, go onto YouTube, type in JT space Valor. Don't type in the word space, just use a space. Oh, there it is on the screen there for you audio listeners. But
Look at those
yeah, no,
thumbnails.
it's yeah, look at those.
I was laughing at the thumbnails because I was going from left to right. I was like, oh, ha,
Oh.
ha,
Ooh. But no, yeah, YouTube for sure. Follow me on Twitter, or I guess X if you want to call it that. I am somewhat on Instagram, but not as much nowadays. And yeah, those
Do
are
you
the
turn
major
any?
places.
Do you turn any of your content into YouTube Shorts?
I used to. I need to do it more. I used to do it really hard, and then I stopped because I was just so busy with the travel and stuff. Like it takes a lot out of you. Like it was literally the 2 months I was in Japan from October of last year to December basically of last year. Literally every single day minus 1 or 2 days I had uploaded a video. So it's go
Beast
out
mode.
for 8+ hours,
beast mode.
edit for another 2 to 3, sleep for a little bit, and then repeat the process, which I loved it because I
Amazing.
was exploring and having a good time, but also, man, I hope I didn't shave some years off my life on that because that was rough.
Well, we appreciate the grind so much, and yeah, everyone, make sure you check out JT's content because he's the real one, and we're fortunate to call him a friend, and the content
Much love. Much love.
is very, very much representative of a Pokemon Go world that we strive to kind of achieve with the community. So your content is an inspiration to us all. We appreciate it. Thank you to everyone who checked out the show. Please make sure you check us out over at PokemonProfessor.com. You can support us on Patreon at patreon.com/PokemonProfessor. Email us luredup@PokemonProfessor.com. You can call us 732-835-8639. We'll be back with normal format next week. We'll get through all the news and all that good stuff. But till next time, JT, thank you once again. We appreciate
Thank you for having me. I had a great time.
Keep training, trainers. Thanks so much. Thank you, chat.
Bye,
We'll see
everyone.
you next week. Bye-bye.